Good morning.
Good
It was
morning.
weirdly strange this morning not being able to log in. They've obviously updated something. When they update Restream, I always end up back at the you have to log in screen. Usually when I go to Restream, it remembers me and it logs me in just automatically. But this time, and then I typed in my password. Nope, that's not the right password. Okay. And then the default password that Google had in its locker was like the wrong password. So I was like, well, ultimately I logged in through Facebook and it worked. But now I'm thinking when we're done with the show, I'm going to go change all my passwords because I'm wondering it's probably a database error. Like odds are good that they were just messing with the database last night and it's a database error and that's fine. But if it is somebody trying to hack this, that could be ugly. This is one of my prim and proper big things that we do every day is this thing. It'd be bad if I can get into Restream.
Unfortunately, the problem is all of my passwords are stored on my computer, not through Google and not through Chrome. And so, like, when I have to do this show, I have to use Google Chrome. And so the only passwords that are on here are the ones that I only use with Google. Nothing else is stored on Chrome. So I haven't had an issue like that come up yet.
I'm just reading Quack's internal thing where Cayen is saying that we all have problems logging in as we age. They have medication for it now.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I found that funny.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of the term dead naming.
Uh-huh.
I know that that's specifically been used for people who are trans, but I like the term in general for other people, like calling you by your real name is effectively dead naming because you're not. You're Pepper. And I mean, and that you're not necessarily trans or anything like that, but
no, and surprisingly enough, I had a trans woman apologize for dead naming me.
Yeah, but I feel like it's true. Like my dad went by Mike. His first name was George.
Yeah.
He just went by Mike. If I called him George, it was funny because his statement was, anytime the phone would ring and he'd answer the phone and they go, "Is George Davis there?" He'd be like, "I'm sorry, he's not here. I may take a message." Because he knew that they didn't know him, If they were calling him George, they didn't know him.
So they were most likely a bill collector.
Right. It was usually a bill collector or something. And so he was like, "Yeah, no, he's not here. Take a message."
Yeah.
And of course, one of my best buds, Troy, who co-hosts with me, that's not his first name either. That's his second name. His middle name.
Well,
the weird
thing.
You go with him to like doctor's appointments and stuff like that, and they start calling him by his first name. I'm like, who the hell are you calling?
Yeah, it is a weird. I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but it does get rather annoying at certain moments in my life. And it's not that I dislike it. It's one of those moments where it's like, okay, if I'm going to be going by this name, like when I first started going by it, I was still in Florida and I tried it and I just couldn't. There was too many people there that were calling me by my birth name.
Right.
And so like I just switched back and it wasn't any big deal. Here, however, when I moved to Colorado, no one knew me.
Right. So you could start all over again.
So basically I just was like...
You went, okay. And we were good with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I did actually introduce myself with my original birth name, but no one remembered who the hell I was.
Right.
But then when I reintroduced myself as Pepper, all of a sudden everyone remembered who I was. So I mean, clearly there is something behind that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
um,
I'm writing a post actually on Facebook because it's really making me think. As someone who suffers from name aphasia as part
mhm.
of my ADD, and literally will forget your name is Pepper, even though we've known each other for like 4 years now, every day on stream, I will suddenly come up to you and I'll say, "I was hanging out with," uh, um, and it's just gone. I've called
Yeah.
Brent funny names. I called him Brett a couple of times. You know, like I'll get close and it's like, and it's not like I don't know who Brent is. You know what I mean? It's like I've even met him in person. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. And as someone who suffers from name aphasia, the amount of time that I get being ribbed for it, or sometimes people are downright hostile, um, makes me very keenly aware of how important it is to not dead name. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
dead naming is a harsh word. That's a very abrupt word. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, that's appropriate. We
It,
don't dead name you.
it it is, but like I was stating before, not everyone that goes by nickname will be offended by it.
No,
The
no,
only people that are truly
no.
offended by it is if there's been like another change as well.
But Dad hated the name George, which is interesting because he was named after his favorite grandfather, who
I was named
was
after my
George.
father,
George
so
Ladd. Hmm?
I was named after my father, so
Right. But I mean, like, so it's not. It has nothing to do with who it is in this. In the case of my dad, because my dad loved this grandfather. This is who we called granddaddy in the family, because it was my great grandfather, but that's irrelevant because
mhm.
Southern. Um, so anyway, it's just granddaddy. But granddaddy was George, and he was named after him.
Yeah,
And I mean, like, so much so that when we got George and we said we named him George, Dad said, "Why in the world would you name a cat that?" You know, like, he was like, "That's a horrible name. Why would you name a cat that?" And I said, "Because of love him and squeeze him and call him George." And he said, "You named your cat after an animation thing?" And I went, "Anyway, that
yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense." I'm like, "Meh." I'm
that
like,
makes sense. I mean, it does. I mean, you told me that it was George, and I immediately knew exactly
exactly what
where it
we.
came from. I mean, what? How am I supposed to not like know?
Mhm.
You know?
And my friend group clearly involves you and many other people who instantly know that that's a Looney Tune reference.
Yeah,
And it's the way it's supposed to be, and the world is that.
yeah.
Uh, Brent, that's the Quasar Art Collective Start Chat. So we have a long running Facebook chat that's just us guys, so that I could say, "I can't lock in. What's wrong?" You know. And that's really what pretty much all we use it for. Although, no, Cam likes to put things in there, so he likes to put artwork. I put my artwork in there, and I noticed. No, I guess Can and I are putting it in the other one because there's the art club chat. That's what it is.
Well, I don't post in the art club chat very often.
Yeah.
As you sit there and go, at all, Pepper. You don't post there at all. And I'm like, I do sometimes. Not all the time. Not weird. But
Yep.
uh,
I'm finishing this post. So I'm starting this because it's Commander 7. If you know, you know. That's really what started this whole thing was Commander 7. You don't gotta join the cruel world, Cayen. But I need to make some joke to your joke, though. I've got to make a joke about the logging disability, the logging in disability thingy. I don't know. It's funny because it was funny, and now I got to think of something.
Okay. All right. So. I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to find something because I'm having a mental breakdown. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, minus 18 Celsius, minus 3 Fahrenheit.
Are you talking about what the temperature was when you woke up?
Well, Cayen's saying it's minus 3 where he is, and he's not
Well,
getting it. And you can't make
when
it.
I woke up this morning, it was negative 11. So.
Yeah, I woke up with a minus 20 Celsius on mine as well.
Yeah, so. To say a bit, it was a tidbit nipply.
Yep.
Was an understatement.
I posted that on one of my friends' things, and they were like, "Stop making me do math. What is it really?" And I'm like, "It's cold. No witches have boobies anymore." I'm like, "Wait, am I using my metaphors?"
Yeah, I mean, it was colder than a witch's titties in a brass bra, so. Okay. I have lost something important. Ah, yay! Just a way to start my day. Where did I put this?
Minus 2 before wind chill. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Did I put it in here?
Have you at least gotten to see Picard 1?
Huh?
Have you gotten to see Picard season 3, episode 1?
No. What do you think I am? A Trekkie?
You are married to a Trekkie.
And my Trekkie husband is not watching it right now.
I know. It's driving me crazy.
Okay? Because he wants to talk to you about it too, but he wants to watch it.
I know. It's driving me crazy.
Exactly. Try living with him.
Right?
But he gets done with work, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, you want to watch Luffy? You want to watch One Piece?"
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. That's kind of fair. I will watch episode 2 tonight. I'm not allowed to watch new episodes of Star Trek until wife comes home, and now we have to wait until after somebody does the trash because he's forgotten the trash repetitively. So somebody has to do the trash too before I can watch the new episode.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's a thing. You'll now know why. When you see the episode, you'll know why I'm so into dead naming today.
It's alright. I mean, I figured it had something to do with it.
I am
Because
sort of
normally you don't bring something up unless it's not related to a Star Trek thing.
right. I am somewhat transparent. I admit openly. Although it is important to me, I just don't think of it until something gets into Star Trek.
Yeah.
As you well know, my fellow ADDer, our brains are all over the map. Who knows?
Yeah, because like right now I'm looking for something that I could have sworn I kept in a simple place that I would remember it, and now I can't find it.
There you go.
But it's kind of important. Like, to me. Not to anyone else, but me. Seriously, where the
I
hell
have
did
been
I put that?
slowly restoring my office to normalcy. It's been out of control since last year in July when I went to Texas to pick up the last of Dad's stuff. And it has been remarkably out of control. I'm slowly bringing it back under control. But I've got a whole bunch of really cool tools that Dad had that I inherited because, and actually, I inherited them with Dad's blessing initially. I mean, obviously, he was confused as to why I wanted them. But once he realized, because he was doing there are a whole bunch of drafting tools. What would you do with drafting tools? And I said, I'm a cartoonist. And he's like, yeah, but that's different tools, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's not. You use all of the same tools as drafting tools. And he's like, well, then, yes, absolutely take all my tools. He's like, if you're going to use them, absolutely. So I've got all of this cool drafting tools. And I just need a good way to put them out so that George won't get to them. But also I can use them over on that table. And then the next thing I'm going to do is run a line up and over. It comes down this post that I built for this, because this post comes up right at the line for the fan, which goes across the ceiling already. So all I need to do is run a USB line along with this already existing rail, and then just run it over to that table, and then I can have a camera mounted over there on my light, and then I can use my drafting board, and we can actually do that. Which is something I really wanted to get started on as using my drafting table. Got that really nice 1963 main line over there.
Uh-huh. So, why aren't you on it now?
Because it's way across the room, and all you do is hear echoes of me. So
Excuses.
that's what I was saying just now. Is I think I can run a line up across this runner here, which goes to my ceiling fan, and then run
Uh-huh.
across the ceiling, and then just have a drop that drops down onto the light. And then I'll have spiders everywhere because they'll be like, "Yay! You made it easy for me to get from the ceiling to the floor," you know. But that's all right. Spiders and I don't have a problem. It's bugs and spiders. You know what spiders do? They get rid of bugs. That's the best part about spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Slanderous to his kitty name. Like George would never do that. Every time I see this picture, though, it's get moving, lower decks. Everything is Star Trek. And that's okay. Today is Star Trek Day. I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt. It's all good. I also theorize that the reason why Captain Buttnose is a buttnose is because he was a real 3-5.
Captain Buttnose is a buttnose.
Yeah. It's another one you'll understand it when you finally watch the episode.
Well, I'm sorry. All
I
right,
know.
you can talk to Bill all you want. Maybe
will.
you should talk
He
to
needs-
him when he was on the show.
Music is what he needs to do. Face the music. I'm counting on him.
Like, excuse me.
Orange juice. I have
Orange
observed
Julius, what?
Orange Julius.
Okay. From now on, that's what I'm calling my sneezes.
Orange Julius. I never liked Orange Julius, and it's a bummer too.
I never found the whole appeal of adding milk products to citrus.
Yeah, me neither. Like, no, a lot. Let me figure out my marine uniforms. Why are they weird like this? What was I thinking? I know that these shoulder pads are supposed to be lock-ons for the armor plates. But why are they distant? Why are they different? What am I doing to myself?
Oh. You'll be happy to know I'm done writing those definitions.
Oh, good. You can start doing actual artwork.
Yeah.
Like a real artist.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do real artwork, but the item I need for it has gone missing.
Right?
And I don't remember where I placed it. I know the last time I had it with me when I went to that meetup. And now I can't find it at all.
When Brent, when you start working on Blender, let's synchronize that so that I'm working on building stuff in Blender at the same time, because then you can ask questions and I will be in Blender mind. And will happily help you. Tinkercad. Okay. Well, I don't know anything about Tinkercad. My buddy who posted in there, we were talking about temperatures, and he's out in Nebraska now. These are this is pretty much effectively my old high school group, right? So it was started by a buddy of mine who's now in Montana, and she posted that it was minus 5,000 degrees or whatever, because it's Montana. And so I posted, what my car read yesterday, which was minus 15 Celsius or whatever, which wasn't actually as cold as it got because it ultimately dropped down to minus 20 Celsius at some point. And that was what my buddy was like. He was like, please don't make me do math. And I was like, it's cold. And he goes, thank you. That's much clearer. Like, but he's also very straight laced, and he always has been. He was every party has their paladin, their lawful good paladin. He was our lawful good paladin in our high school group. And a lot of us were chaotic. I have always been chaotic good in my life. Always chaotic good. But chaotic was a little bit more prominent in high school. And so he was our lawful good paladin. And, he joined the army, and he's still in the army now. And even after all these years, he plays in the army band. And he's a professor with a doctorate, like all kinds of wild stuff. He's just that guy. And I love kind of messing with him because he's also like super not he's not prudish, but I like saying things like boob and things like that because it makes him go, oh, okay, and he gets a little stammering. Alex said, it's too cold for walking. So I put, no witches have boobies, so quote. Maybe mixing metaphors, but now I'm all into my mixed metaphors, so there's that. It's the same thing as Blender. So when we talk about 3D programs, I've used so many 3D programs over my life that now the distinction is very fine between different 3D programs. Like, I really could use Maya or 3D Studio Max if I had to. I'd be grumpy about it. It'd make me mad. I'd grump the whole time because, everybody has a different button in a different place, and I hate that. And so really the only reason I park out on Blender is because I know where all the dumb buttons are. So I don't have to be as grumpy about it. It'll probably still grind. But anyway, so when you say it's the same as Blender but browser based, I'm like, in my head, I'm sitting there going, okay, so the browser comes up and you have your control unit on the left and all of your modifiers on the right, and how do they make things move in the browser like that? You know, so because it's a fine detail for me, I think that what I would find is Tinkercad is not anything like Blender for my taste, and I get grumpy and mad at it because I have to go learn all the dumb control panels again when I'm looking for modifiers. Which is the reason I hung out at Daz 3D this entire stinking time. Because really, I think Blender is going to do a far better job than Daz 3D does. But I need to learn skeletons and things like that so that I can make decent maquettes. But once I do, I feel like the maquettes will act better because I can give gravity, which is something that Daz 3D does not have. Yeah, see, that looks totally different, in my opinion. Although it is similar looking, I've got to give it props. That is, and I like the fact that the work literally just says work plan. Verbally useful. Blender suffers from an excess of cooks in the kitchen, generally speaking. Man, I'm feeling good. I mean, you're not, but I'm feeling great. What are you looking for, Pepper?
I'm looking for an image that was on top of some thumbnails that I was working on. And now I can't seem to find them after I went to the meetup.
And you're afraid you left it at the meetup?
Yeah, because by gosh darn it, I don't know very many people there. So, with the exception of you, Ron, and Governor, and Jesse, and the people that talked to me about everything, I didn't know.
Good morning, Travis. Is it cold where you are as well? As we are suffering from some rather stupid amounts of cold. Your face doesn't like it. There.
Okay. Here.
However, like I know all the people there, relatively speaking. So if you did, I'm pretty sure we can recover it easily.
But I don't think the last day I saw it was that day. I don't know if I left it though. That's the problem. So before I go saying something, I have to exhaust all of my searching abilities.
I'm just saying, I think we're okay if that's the case, other than you can't use it right now.
Yeah.
But Ron usually posts, hey people, I noticed that somebody left this or that, or there's a backpack here, or there was artwork left behind. However, if it's obviously your artwork, he's likely to hold on to it until the next time, rather than post out in the open, because you're not out in the open, you know. So rather than post open, he might just be holding on to it, and we'll get it next time. So
Yeah, well, I kind of need it before next time. That's my problem.
the good news is you are really close to Fort Collins. So if Ron has it,
Yeah. But I thought I had it when I came home, so I just need to remember where I placed it.
yep.
Because I have the other stuff
The maddening part
that
of
I
it,
brought with me.
breaking. So Travis, you like breaking the ice? We'll just send you forth for all meetings with people. This is our icebreaker, Travis.
Ah, I found it!
Yay!
It was in the last place I didn't look.
Right?
No, it's the short 16-pager for Atom Punk Jupiter, Ghost of
Yes,
Callisto.
yes, yes. You need that.
Yeah.
I've been working hard on that one. All right.
Yeah.
Cooking along here.
So, just to give everyone like a fill-in, Ghost of Callisto for Atom Punk Jupiter is supposed to be a short. To see if I can actually do the art style, the story styling, all of that stuff. It is a little convoluted, but I needed a storyline to go with the print that I'm going to be doing for the event that I'm trying to get this done for. It is.
Is that the same event as we're trying to get stuff done for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just nice when we're all coordinated. That's all. I just like the fact that we're all rolling towards the same thing because it makes it easy for us to keep us all in line.
My thing is I got everything done as far as so for those of you who are tuning in that didn't understand what I was doing, I did a deck of Oracle cards, 36 of them, in fact, and I have just finished the preliminary first draft of the card definitions, and I've sent them off to certain people who are into Oracle cards to double check everything and all of that fun stuff. The funniest feedback I've gotten so far, you definitely can tell that I am on autistic spectrum because all of my definitions are straightforward and not flowery or fruity or something that you have to really think about interpreting.
Yep.
So there you go. They're like, that is very refreshing. So you don't have toe tips, but you can still tiptoe? Huh? I'm not sure what you're meaning.
No, that's a good point. How do you tiptoe if you don't have toe tips? We have fingertips.
Oh. I just thought toes were called buttons.
Buttons.
Yeah.
Travis is breaking the ice. It's his job, man. We've assigned it to him. Just assigned it to himself. What's going on, man? He's doing his job. All right. Let's scroll this up.
So, I still feel I had a question for you specifically, Guy, and I wasn't sure if you would want to answer this or not.
I answer. As I told my therapist yesterday, I answer all questions. That is like my thing about Spectrum. You may not like the answer.
Okay, um, so, um, never mind. I forgot.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Um,
Being clever and cute, and
no,
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
it's fine. Um, yeah. Never
Right.
mind.
I will continuing on until you remember whatever it was you wanted to say or not, as you see fit. So I'm okay either way. All is good. Keep it moving, lower decks. What is the opposite of opposite? This is like parking in a driveway and driving in a parkway. You're like, wait a minute.
And I don't know what to say to that.
Oh, line functions beautiful here. Look at that. So did you know that there was a line function in Clip?
No.
So see you can see what's on my screen right here?
Uh huh.
Isn't that cool?
But it makes sense that there would be a line function.
It does, but I can make it black too. And then it just adds a nice extra border.
I mean,
But
up close, not close, the white line looks better to me, but
yeah,
that's.
that's what I was thinking. Is the white line's probably more accurate because of the background,
Hmm.
which is going back there quite a ways. But yeah, I love that. That's so good. All right. Hi, George. If you want scritches, you know the rules. Yep. Travis is apparently talking to himself, which is all right. You can talk to yourself. Come here. Yeah, apparently take a George break. It's time for a George break. Do you not come over here because of the mouse? Is that the problem? Are you afraid of mice? What kind of cat are you? Yeah, come over here. It's okay. You can be super big cat, like a kaiju cat. You're my kaiju cat. Let's move this. Here, come here. Come here, come here, come here. Here. Come here. Because they're afraid of the mouse. George, I'm going to get back to work. If you want scritches, I'm okay with that. But you got to come over here. I'm okay with you not wanting to be over here at this point and be, all cat-like, but that's you, bro. You're like, I'm gonna wait until you're drawing again because I have to interrupt the drawing. That's important. All right. Inking on this page is complete. Hmm. Should have different patches. All right. Just this page. I mean, we we had to spend some time on this. Comics take some time. So
That is
and even with my speed demoniness, speeding up even with this still takes time. So you don't have to wait 2 years. You have to wait 1. Goodbye, Travis. Thank you for being with us this morning
Hi, Travis.
and being our icebreaker, designated icebreaker. There's a squirrel outside. Squirrel. It is so cold, though. The roads are still white. That is pretty cold. Usually, that road has melted a little bit by this time in the morning. And it's starting to be black again, but now it's still white. It's still very, very white.
Random name generator.
Do you need one?
Well, I need one for a sovereign, and it needs to be something like, I don't know. I'm looking at the name generator right now.
In private chat. If you need
Oh,
one,
that's where I'm at right now.
I love this. This is my favorite site that has ever favorited. She is so good at the things she just comes up with, and she's got like generators for generators for generators, and I just dig it. She's good at this stuff. So.
Okay. I think I can. I think I can get behind one of those. I just don't know on what this is. Uh-oh, there's a Bill behind me. Messages from Bill.
I kept hearing my name, but I was in a meeting, so.
Well, yeah, we were cursing your name because you haven't seen Picard's season 3, episode 1 yet.
I haven't seen that for season 2.
Well, you're making my life miserable over here, Bill.
I'm sorry.
I'm supposed to tell you. How am I supposed to talk with you about this?
I've been thinking about getting Paramount. We're trying to budget for some stuff, so I don't want to introduce new things until we do the other things.
You know, really, it's just because I love you, and we got to talk about these things, man. We got to talk about these things.
I mean, the trailer looks amazing. Like, I wasn't too interested in season 2. I mean, maybe it was great, but the trailer didn't grab me. But season 3 is like, I want to watch it.
Right. Season 2 was okay. It wasn't bad at all. I know people are grumping about a lot of things about Picard, and I have to admit that Picard isn't the top of my Star Trek fandoms. In the meanwhile, it isn't. Of all of the Star Treks that are out there, Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds is leading right now. But Prodigy is the one that's not grabbing me. You know, I'm having a real hard time with Prodigy. It's not bad. I still watch every episode on Thursday when it comes out. But it's not grabbing me. It's not taking me along for a ride, and I'm not enjoying it as much. And at least Discovery and Picard are still carrying me along. You know what I mean? Like, I still like them. I'm still enjoying them. They're just not as they're not just like I'm just waiting to hear when Strange New World season 2 and when Lower Decks is coming out. I'm just waiting, like So of the properties that they've got, Picard has been sort of on the lower end for me. Not bad, but just lower. Just not as awesome as Strange New World. So, but I mean, a lot of people are whining about it, and I'm like, the changes that they're talking about don't affect me really. I like the fact that they're exploring Picard and crew being older. I mean, I think I'm going to appreciate that. I'm going to appreciate Picard a whole lot more, I think, in 20 years when I'm that age. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, watch it and go, oh, yeah, no, I'm feeling that, So I think I will appreciate it a whole lot more once we hit that age. So,
right.
But even now I'm appreciating it, even though technically I am as old right now as Patrick Stewart was in TNG.
Yeah. I don't want to be that old. I'm waiting for the immortality serum.
There you go. So.
Hi, Brent.
That's the thing. Mr. Bill. I haven't made the joke, really.
Yeah, what?
The Mr. Bill joke.
Oh. I can't remember growing up and like going through college, and people were like, your generation is probably going to be the first ones to get to see like the immortality serum or shot or whatever it happens. I'm like, I'm still waiting.
Right. They also told me I was supposed to get a flying car.
Right.
I'm waiting for that one too. As I drive through snow and ice and slide.
Right.
Really?
Last time I checked, I'm waiting for my hoverboard.
right.
Mhm.
That too.
Well, technically, they did create the hoverboard.
No, that is not a hoverboard. It has wheels.
It's a wheeler
Well,
board.
they created a magnetic one. It's just you have to be on the magnetic sheet that it comes with to do it.
And you can't go forward.
Yep.
You stay in one place.
Yep. And someone made the shoes
Yeah,
from there.
the auto lacing shoes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess technically we could have had auto lacing shoes a long time ago. It's just that it's silly to put motors in your shoes.
Right.
Asking for something to break, you know, you might as well just tie them.
Hmm.
Which is sort of the end result. Might as well just tie them.
I don't know. I don't think that's the future. I think the future, like in your world, I bet if you're not on a ship or if you're not if you're like living on a planet and you don't go anywhere, I imagine the technology would be such that the floors would be clean and comfortable that you would not need shoes.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've actually pretty much. That's one of the things I've been saying a lot is that, you know, not on board ship, they have a much more relaxed society about clothing in general
Hmm.
because every place is climate controlled.
Right.
Every place the humans live is climate controlled because none of the planets, all the planets are hostile.
Hmm.
So you can't live outside. That's one of the reasons why Moment in this comic is so important. It's one of the only oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere planets that they've got. And it's
Right.
out in the boonies, no less. It's not anywhere near the capital. And so it's a spot
So-
to argue over.
Does terraforming not exist in your universe?
Terraforming just takes a long time. It
Okay.
takes a long time to replace the atmosphere of a planet.
Right.
It takes
There's
a
some.
really long time. And so it's
I'm gonna-
just cheaper for them to build a dome.
Right. I'm gonna share 2 videos I think that talk about like terraforming Venus and Mars,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's really cool to like just follow like, well, if we were going to do it, this is how we would do it, and this is how long it would take, and like they would have to build like a big space mirror to like
Yeah.
deflect some of the sunlight from Venus, and they're like, well, where would you point it? Well, why not point it at Mars? Mars needs more sunlight so we can warm it up. And then they could mine a lot of the greenhouse gases from Venus and send it off to Mars.
Right.
It's like really cool to think about. It's just fun.
Yeah, transferring back and forth. The biggest problem with Venus is just that you do need to just block the sun for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Mhm.
slow the winds down, and that would get rid of the high pressure zone that's
Right.
locking the planet down. But the biggest problem with both of them is they're suffering from overabundance of carbon dioxide. So you have to get a machine on there somewhere along the line to break the carbon from the oxygen to make carbon blocks, which is really what would end up happening. And I mean, honestly, I've got replicators now in this world. So there's, you know, that's one of the technology conceits that I'm taking, you know, trying to keep my conceits down, but faster than light travel is required. Otherwise, the entire story is going to take place in one solar system. And we have to have food replicators. Otherwise, we're back to a scarcity economy that's going to have people fighting over food. And I didn't want that. Our history explores that enough. I don't need to explore that in my story. We've got more than enough of that going on in our history. So
Did you
those
get that?
seats.
Did you get that link for the Price's Law, by the way?
I did. Have you
Okay.
looked up Price's Law?
That's well. I sent you the link. I mean, I didn't read that particular one.
No.
I just wanted to give you like a seed of it, so you could have a
It-
look with it.
It's one of those. I went and looked it up, and I can't see any research underneath it. It's just some dude came up with it while doing research papers, and everybody nods a lot and says, "Yeah, that's right."
Mm-hmm.
But there's like no research on it. It's just
Mm.
some dude came up with it. Now I might be wrong, and I would love for you to countermand this, please. So if you do ever come up with oh no, Price's Law was tested in 2005 at blah blah blah, and they tested 1,000 people, and sure enough, it worked with those 1,000 people, and or whatever. But that's one of the things that Bregman's talking about is anything that's negative about us generally has no research and is just some dude that says, everybody just does this, and everyone went, yeah. And anything that's positive tends to have 10,000 people that they tested it on, and it was double blind, and it had placebos, you know what I mean? Like full scientific studies on these things. And he said the interesting thing is that people don't pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. Instead, they gravitate towards these, Joe Smith came up with this theory that if you leave people alone, they'll kill each other. And everybody goes, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah, that's totally true. And there's nothing to back it up. But then they'll do, we tested 50,000 people across all of the UK and America and Japan. And, in each and every one of these cases, they all passed the litmus test to say that we were the good people. And everybody's like, yeah, that's probably not true. He's like, that's such a weird phenomenon. That's what his book is really about, is that phenomenon.
I just remember it from business courses in college, but that doesn't make it true, right?
Well, like I was looking it up, and I was like, what is there justification for Price's Law? Right? That's the Google search I put in. What's the science behind Price's Law? And the best one that I got was somebody said, well, it comes from academia, so it's probably true. And I'm like, no. just because some professor came up with it somewhere doesn't automatically make it true. Mm-hmm. And it cracks me up. But the other thing that Bregman does talk about is there's always mitigating circumstances too, and that's something that people don't take into account. Like, Price's Law assumes a vacuum. It does not assume that you have disenfranchised your employees or the people who are working for you, because that distorts the results. Mm-hmm. If you disenfranchise your employees, then yeah, you're going to get that result because they're disenfranchised. But that's not an indication that people suck. That's an indication that management didn't do a good job. You know what I mean? So the implication goes a different direction on that one. So that's another thing. He didn't say that about Price's Law. I haven't seen him say anything about Price's Law in these books yet. So, but that's the things he's talking about is that, like alcoholism and drug use is generally a mental illness problem. Like something went wrong mental illness wise. And study after study after study has shown that if you correct the mental health issues with the people, they get off the drugs and get off the alcohol. And that's a repetitive study that has shown for literally 100 years. They do. So there's hundreds of thousands of people in that study. But we can.
But I hear my thing going off, so I have to check on my work.
See you later, Bill. Thank you for talking to me. I love you.
You're welcome.
And just so you know, Pepper, I love you too.
That's fine. I know that you actually love my husband more.
It depends on how funny it is.
For those of you who haven't heard it, one of the shows where I was on with my husband on, I think it was Monday's show, Guy openly admitted that I'm a very trying person to get along with. So
that's funny. I don't remember that, but I totally believe I would say that. I am totally willing to believe that I said that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I live by the Roger Rabbit rule, which is I'll believe anything provided that it was funny. If it was funny, I'll believe that I said it, even if it was only funny to me.
It wasn't done mean wise. It's just like you said something and you basically indicated only Bill, and I was like, well, thank you for not denying it.
Well, that still makes it funny. So I'm okay with it. I am still
And
okay
then
with it.
and then Bill said that you got upset. You were upset that I did an Irish goodbye on you.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't upset, but I mean, I did observe that you just walked away.
Folks, that is what we call an Irish goodbye.
Yep.
It used to be actually, in fact, it used to actually be the standard way to say goodbye to people is just walk away.
Makes
Why
sense.
was that? Because usually, if you just walked away, it was because the other people that were there were in conversation and you didn't want to rudely interrupt just to say goodbye.
Right? And like our southern upbringing, you're supposed to excuse yourself from it. And if they're talking so intensely, you just end up standing there awkwardly.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do? So even though I was making a joke about it, I really wasn't bothered by it because you're right. It is better for you to just
Walk away.
excuse yourself from the discussion.
I mean, it took me about, I want to say, like 30 something years to adopt that habit.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you I used to wait patiently before just like
Yeah, I mean, like, and I remember as a kid, I remember my grandmother snapping me for that. You know,
yeah,
I was bored and I didn't want to stand there and watch this, have this discussion. So I got up and left, and she got on my case for it. You don't leave. You have to excuse yourself. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. You know, I remember that.
Yeah.
It is an ongoing thing.
Southern rules, social rules are different. I want to say the southeastern United States, possibly a lot of Texas, also observes the same social rules. And it gets confusing when you're a kid.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Especially if you're spectrumy, because you and I are both spectrumy, so like all of this stuff is opaque and weird. Like it's not clear as to why you're doing all of this stuff.
Right.
And that
it's
makes
like
it even harder.
Yeah, it is a really awkward situation for sure.
Yeah. Makes me shrug because I don't actually, even though I observed it, I think that I was really just ribbing you because we're both Southerners, and that's technically not supposed to be what we're supposed to do. But really, legitimately, I'd rather you did that. So, in the future, please feel free. Did we have a shot of her with the engine pod down? If the pods are down, then this could be an easy shot. And I still need to pose her properly, but I think that get more coffee for that.
Oh, now I remember what I was trying to ask you before. Um, do you think people mind comics that are printed on newsprint?
Hmm. I have observed. I have
That's
seen.
you.
There you go.
You've observed what?
And I have sneezed.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm. Well, newsprint is what a lot of much older comics were printed on. Um,
Hmm.
Granted, older newsprint was actually lighter in color, so a lot of the colors were. But also back then, they didn't have like ink injected into the paper. They had everything like basically was placed on top of the paper, so it wasn't like it was slightly raised off the page, the ink part at least. Um, Someone basically said that they wouldn't stock newsprint comics in their shop because it like I guess like they don't have very many people that like the quality of them.
You're doing it in
So
black and white color.
it's probably going to be color. So I think I've already shown this to you once. So essentially, I found this place that does newsprint comics and zines, and they have like salmon color paper.
Oh yeah.
They also have like normal color paper too, like the normal kind. So I wasn't sure. Like they gave me a few testing stuff too. So like they have like their different colored tone paper, and then they gave me a color scale for that's on the sample.
Oh, that's cool.
So I would see what the colors would morph into on the color paper.
Right. That's nifty.
Um, the and it's with all of them too. It's not like they have a bright white, so it'll look exactly on how you probably normally print, but this is on the gray, and it's not much different. So, um, I tend to collect a lot of samples for print shops because I always want to keep them on hand, especially if they are still in operation. Because you never know what type of project would need it.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, what I just showed you, Brent, it's actually printed on both sides, full color. So it's not too bad, actually. It's thicker newsprint, so it's not like newsprint that you like use charcoal and stuff on. If that's what you mean. Hello, some user.
Ah, some user. Our other European check-in to see whether you guys are freezing over there.
Yeah, but unlike everyone else in America, he'll probably know what Celsius is.
That's also true. We keep referring to things in Celsius. So the reason we're saying that, some user, is that it's minus 17 right now in Colorado here, Celsius. We've gotten hit with a cold snap.
Mm.
And that's in Colorado. I mean, obviously. So I was curious whether you guys are being hit over there on the other side of the planet. Huh? It's pretty unpleasant. Although, I mean, not unheard of for Colorado. You know, I mean, like, we do get cold. It gets cold in the winter here. We're at high altitude, and it's cold. But I'm always like curious, when it's cold here, what's it like on the other side of the pond? Is it cold there too, or does the cold go back and forth like this, over the top of the globe? Things like that. But it's not that cold. Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Brent, I was actually thinking about that too. I think it would work for that one for sure. I just have to get it done.
Wagon or monkey arms. Part of the reason I love using the pets is this. I'm just putting a silhouette in, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But still need to make it look like her. Holding napping. Yeah, pepper needs to be, so it's 2 degrees. That's not bad. Yesterday it was 15 above, and that was nice. And now, I guess day before yesterday it was 15 above, and then last night it dropped to 20 below. And I'm sitting there going, and this is how Colorado has this totally insane weather. It's just crazy. Colorado has 0 fluids.
Brian, it's not that I need my feet held to the fire. It's I need to stop taking on stuff for money.
Yeah.
That makes me delayed. Bill likes it when I make money. Less he has to pay for.
Yeah. That's the problem I run into from time to time. It's like, I'm finally back onto Bellatrix Rising, but at some point here, we're going to get back to the work that pays money and do that, and that's going to stall us from Bellatrix Rising.
Yeah, the current project, the card one, getting that one done, that took the replacement of the pins. But this other stuff that I'm working on now, that actually coincides with what I would be going to Wicked West for.
Uh-huh.
And since a lot of Wicked West has a lot of sci-fi themes, that's why I'm trying to do this one. And then the Captain Space Duck.
Captain
Space Duck.
Space Duck.
Brent, I actually have. Bill does not want to attend Wicked West, and I would need someone at the table with me if you wanted to. Just saying. I have 2 badges. And I don't know if Guy's going to take up my guest room.
No. I have such problems sleeping, and everything has to be so perfect just to get my back to not be in immense pain that I tend to make that my final option, staying at people's houses. And it's not you, it's everybody. I try very hard to not stay with people if I can do it.
Well, I've been told that my guest bed is actually like a pillow.
Okay.
So if it's too soft for you, sorry.
It may be too soft for me, which is weird.
Surprisingly enough, I actually got the mattress from Costco.
Yeah.
It's actually very comfortable too.
Yep.
And I have flannel.
Squidward wants to turn the temperature up to 60. And you're like, folks. I could see that. Totally could see that. Yeah.
So
Holding on to
I
that.
understand what you're saying, Brent. Understand what you're saying. However, Wicked West is in April.
And you'll be on a bike in April.
Yeah.
Which could mean you are stuck places.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, April is when we start getting more rain.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You're stuck places.
Yeah.
It's our weather.
Someone did ask when our hail season was, and I was like, normally that's in summer. It's like if we're gonna get hail, we're gonna get hail during the middle of summer.
Not the middle. It's usually spring and fall. Because that's
Spring
when we
and
get
fall?
because that's when that's typically when we have it's very, very cold in the upper layer, but very, very hot down here. During the summer, the upper layer of the atmosphere is also hot. And so you don't usually get ice crystals forming up there.
Well, I mean, I remember one of my windows breaking in June.
Yeah, that's spring.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm not in Florida anymore.
No. Spring for us is until about June-ish, give or take.
Yeah. Ever tell you when I first saw hail for the first time in my life? It wasn't even in Colorado.
Yep.
It was in Florida, right? Yep. So the biggest hailstone I ever saw prior to moving to Colorado was about the size of a quarter.
Right. Quarter size can be nasty.
They can be nasty. But like,
but it's nothing compared to baseball-sized hail, which is what we get here.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was very interesting because I was a kid and my aunts and my uncles were like,
right.
I'm sorry to hear that, Brent.
Brutally nasty. Who wants to do that?
Ooh. I hope you pull through for the audit. That sucks.
And that means that page 22 is complete. Look at us doing jobs.
Mm.
Sometimes it doesn't take much effort at all to.
As you can tell, Bill is now in a meeting because he's talking very loudly.
Very loudly. Yep.
So if you can hear him, sorry.
Yeah, he actually sent me a cited abstract study on Price's Law. I'm totally on board with this. That's way cool. From 1988, no less. Hey, where's the paper? Oh, I can't read it. Oh. That's a bummer. Bill did exactly what I asked him to do, and I can't read it because you have to buy the research.
Mm.
That's part of what's making my job of trying to get to the bottom of things. You know, because I believe that everything has a reason that we would all understand, as opposed to just getting mad about everything all the time. And the biggest problem I have is that, you know, it's like, I wonder if I can do this. Biggest problem that I've got is that you can look at the research if you want to pay $50 for it, and I'm told to.
Oh, the researchers need the money because they don't necessarily get. Yeah, I'm just joking, Guy.
Oh, good. Price's square root law, empirical validity and relation to Lotka's law. Lotka is spelled Lotka, and Price's spelled like price with an apostrophe S. It comes from Information Processing and Management, Volume 24, Issue 4, 1988, pages 469 to 477. So I can access it through my institution.
You've been institutionalized? What?
You know, sometimes I feel like I should be.
Well, with friends like me,
Yep, who needs enemas?
everyone needs one of those.
Enema. I'm just saying.
Especially when they're sick.
Right? I have to do a colonoscopy, speaking of. So I'm kind of doing the
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, right?
So they're gonna make you not eat for 12 hours.
Yeah. And then they're going to give me laxatives and
Although I know that when my grandfather had his, he said that afterwards he felt 5 pounds lighter.
probably. Yeah, and apparently the procedure itself isn't so bad.
No, it's his was rather quick. Like there's like a lot of stuff that you have to prep beforehand, including your body, but
Yeah,
relatively it's outpatient.
yeah. I mean,
If they find anything, they usually ask you, "Hey, you want us to take care of this right now?" They're already in there.
yep. Since we're up and close,
And very personal, but we're not going to buy you dinner after this, so don't expect that.
right? All right. Oh, because I'm 50. I mean, apparently that's what we do now at 50. Is
Yeah.
I turned 50 this last year, and so the doc was like, if on my 50th birthday, I went into the doctor, and he's like, "So you're 50 now. You know what that means?" And I'm like, "No, what?" He's like, "We'll discuss it." I was like, "That's ominous."
Well, it's kind of like I turn 40 this year, so I know what's coming.
Yeah. It was just really funny. He was like, "We'll discuss it." I'm like,
Yeah,
boy,
I know it's coming for me now that I'm turning 40.
yeah.
It's not the funnest thing. I hope
No.
my doctor has slender fingers.
Oh. Although apparently they don't check your prostate that way anymore.
No, I'm joking. I know they don't, but
I know, but I'm just saying. I apparently they don't check the prostate that way.
no. I think
Yep, that's the other part of the colonoscopy, which is not a colonoscopy. It's called an endoscopy, which is funny because this is not the end. That's the end. I don't know.
hey, the same type of skin cells that are around your lips are around the anus.
Yep, we're just saying.
There's meaning the reason why people say you're talking out of your ass.
Yep.
Sorry, this is not the late night show. This is the morning show. I should not have said that word.
Well, it's the late night show for some user.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not the late night. It's the afternoon show, but still. I mean, evening show. Evening show.
So I just had to send a package out yesterday, and the person who sent me um, to do the I guess some the lack of better terms is I guess signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess the person has a lot of cats because I was like removing cat hair from my desk the entire time that I
Sounds
had. Yeah.
Aw, the destroyer is so cute. Look, let's hope we can fit her in here anymore. We may not be able to fit her in here at all. Especially if she's weird. Questions for blade sensor. Let's not fold the blade sensor that way. Things go a lot easier when your blade sensor is folded up. Questions: how much of this ship are we getting here? It's like, she's big, really big. Much bigger than that bay. So we may have overbigged her. She should be on the side of the bay. Holding station. And she's improperly mapped. So, tell me you're the wrong map without telling me you're the wrong map? Yeah. Do I have a different destroyer? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the wrong hole. I have
Thank
observed
you.
that I sneezed. Thank you. I feel like I've got the wrong starship in there. There's another version with better maps, and I'm trying to figure out what happened, where that version went. Like, did I not save it? That would make me annoyed. You're moving a little fast, so it's entirely possible that's exactly what happened. That's Commonwealth. I need unity, guys. I need unity. What the heck is going on here?
You need unity. I don't know.
Okay, everything but the engines. and the gravity thing. But that works. That is the correct color. Which means for reasons, we are incorrect on like strangeness. Oh, so we may just put her in now without. Mid-Journey credits. Yes, I bought some Mid-Journey credits, and I've been dinking around with Mid-Journey. Most of the things I like to use Mid-Journey for are inspiration for buildings that we'll ultimately need to build here in Bellatrix Rising, because of the fact that I really like the 60s architecture design. You know, that sort of neo 60s new sort of setup. And I can type that into the prompt and say, you know, building a sci-fi futuristic city that looks sort of like the, you know, has the aspects of a 60s, you know, and it does a good job of kind of spitting that out. So, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that I've gotten into. So, the answer to your question is yes, I have indeed. Oh, he's almost correct. But these are not really big. But they do a great job of docking. In fact, maybe I'll put a work bee on this door right here, because it could be docked pretty nicely.
I haven't used GTP. I used another one though. Let me try to remember what it's called. OpenAI is what I
I've
actually
used AI.
I don't use ChatGPT for writing purposes, mainly because I want to make sure that whatever I'm writing is my own. I don't want it generated for me. Now, sometimes OpenAI, well, yeah, yes and no. OpenAI is a different website. ChatGPT can do a lot more than what OpenAI can. OpenAI literally can only write. That's all it can do. But it does allow me to have some very humorous things happen. But I have tested it. It does actually take other authors' work at times, and I just won't.
Well, and that's the thing. I'll use OpenAI and ChatGPT sort of stuff for different. Like, I'll use them to write an article that exists in the Matrix Rising universe. Right? It's an article, and it's okay if it doesn't exist. We wrote that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I would do.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out on how I would use it. Honestly, some user, um, I don't, I don't feel comfortable using it in that manner. That's all. I know a lot of people would say that OpenAI, GTP, like you could use them, but I just saw a food video recently of recipe making, and they use GTP versus an actual person who develops recipes for, like, say, magazines and in cookbooks and stuff. And granted, like, it was his crew that was basically doing the taste testing, but they were blindfolded. They didn't know which one made which food. And
It's
they
already
made
horrible.
hamburgers. Yeah, they made hamburgers, they made fried chicken, and they made chocolate chip cookies. Okay? Of the three, the person who developed the recipes, the human, all of his food won each time. Chat GTP's food, the recipes are good, but they're under seasoned. Meaning a lot of the stuff that they made was bland.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just remember, like, if you go on there to ask them to provide you certain things, it's all well and good, but if you think that it's gonna be like something not to your liking, just remember you're still human and you have to think and make alterations to make it work. My biggest issue is I went on OpenAI and I asked for it to write me a ghost story and about a 1920s heiress. And what it did was it pulled the story from the headlines from the 1920s. About an heiress.
Which that could be interesting.
Yeah. Which would have been funny, but it's fun to do possibly, but I don't think I want her family to come after me. Because it's an actual legitimate family that has way more money than I do. So, it was fun to read, but I don't think I would ever use it. So.
All right, we are at 11 o'clock.
Yay! I made that awkward. Yeah, some user, my husband Bill does look at Open AI for coding, and then before he adds it to anything, he just makes sure that it runs with his current script properly, and he does it in like a test area. Yeah, and converting American recipes to metric for people. I know a lot of people have been doing that too with it. But yeah, you're right. The 90% of the time that it works for code is actually pretty accurate, according to my husband. So sometimes it doesn't work at all, and other times it like works really well. So it's a hit or miss for him too. So, but anyways, on that note, Guy was trying to end the show, and I was talking.
No, actually, you weren't bothering me. I've got 65 trillion spaceships flying around all of a sudden.
All of a sudden?
All of a sudden.
It's alright, Guy. We know you want them to float in the shuttle bays.
Yep, it's important. I'm trying to get this little MPV to actually be there so you can see it, because otherwise, little teeny spaceships, you just can't see them. So, there's that. There's that. All right, guys, we are out of here because it is now 11 o'clock, and I'm looking forward to lunch because I am back to intermittent fasting. So I don't eat anything until lunch. So now I'm going downstairs to get lunch. So
I'm on medication. I have to eat breakfast now.
yeah, that was the thing, is I was on medication too that required me to eat breakfast, and then I talked to him and he was like, no, you can just take, instead of taking 2 pills, you can just take 1. So I've been doing that, and that's been better. So,
I'm kind of jealous because I take 1 pill and I have to eat.
right? Yeah, and the best part about this is I can take my Adderall in the morning on an empty stomach, and it just instantly goes into working. Whereas, as opposed to eating it on a full stomach, that's kind of, or taking the pill on a full stomach, never goes as well. Anyway, it was good to see you, some user. Thank you for being here for a while. Obviously, Brent was here for a while as well, and we had Travis for a while, but then he went to bed. So that's a thing. We had Cayen, but I think Cayen's still in bed, and so that's always good. And I will thank you and see you guys, and then I'll be on tonight again, and we will continue with the production of this comic. And until then, as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.
Peace!